Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. A great marriage is not when perfect couple comes together, but when an imperfect couple learns to enjoy their differences. That is the message from William Kabogo. We'll have to look at it in this analysis. In today's newspaper, The Standard, this headline: Uhuru men, we are done with Raila Odinga. And the story is about Mount Kenya Azimio la Umoja leaders now say they have put Raila Odinga's presidential loss behind them and are warming up to President William Ruto, whose government they plan to support so that it can succeed in its service to the country. I think I'm one person that my position is whatever the rupture in Mount Kenya is nothing to do with Raila Odinga. And those who are reducing the conflict that is emerging there to be a factor on Raila Odinga, I think we are simply getting it wrong. That story is coming after Jeremiah Kioni and the former Ndaragu MP and Ngujiri Wambugu met a host of leaders who lost from Mount Kenya, and they made a conscious decision expressing their plan to support William Ruto. And so I ask, what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? That has nothing to do with Raila Odinga. And we are in this country, we understand that every politician now is no longer pursuing the interest of another politician, of a political party, or the interest of the constituents, but is now looking for his own personal interest. So the position by Jeremiah Kioni and Ngujiri Wambugu, they're expressing themselves and they're endearing themselves to William Ruto so that they can get something. And they are rightfully in that. If Jeremiah Kioni was reacting to his loss in Eala, regarding Gachagua himself have said that he rallied Mount Kenya MPs to support Kanini Kega. Why did he rally the same Mount Kenya MPs to support Jeremiah Kioni? So if you look at it, this is nothing to do with Raila. Dragging Raila Odinga's name in the Mount Kenya split is wrong. Tall order. And a day after Rigathi made that announcement, there have been counter accusations. The current Nyeri governor pointed out that their marriage with William Ruto, the wedding they had, they are watching, and it's not a must. They're not going to be bulldozed. And I think President Ruto himself might have made a call to Gachagua, and Gachagua today issued another statement over the same. A statement that I want you to listen to here.
Nilisikia jana umesema mambo ya harusi. Nataka kukosoa kidogo. Hii harusi yetu iko sawa. This marriage between the president, ourselves, and the rest of Kenyans was as a result of a long courtship. We courted each other na tukapendana, tukaona tunaweza ishi pamoja. On the 9th of August, a grand wedding was held. And God gave blessings to that wedding. And the people of Kenya witnessed that wedding and agreed that is a good wedding. Governor, that wedding is a permanent wedding until death do us apart. And I can tell you, the partners in this wedding are loving each other. The marriage has already been consummated. And the first child is on the way. And there will be more children.
This reaction from Rigathi Gachagua prompted the same, a response from former Kabogo Governor William Kabogo, who is saying and is telling Rigathi Gachagua something very critical, that the only way to survive in the midst of that betrayal narrative, or rather that betrayal scare from William Ruto, is number one, accept that there are problems. Then when you accept their problems, you now start knowing how you stay together. And I can't agree more. Gachagua is over-trusting President Ruto. And the architect of that Mount Kenya split is none other than William Ruto himself. My good friend Bernard Adeo will tell you that he knows everything. The person behind whatever is happening, let me not, I think we've got it wrong in my previous videos, that maybe that was just a rupture. That split is being created by William Ruto himself. And I'll explain to you. Don't assume that there is a truth, there is something that people are getting judged. No. William Ruto is in charge. And he is the person that is planting that. I have a very interesting, something that I'm so passionate about. I think you can take everything away from Raila and Uhuru handshake, but we should not negate the fruits of that handshake. And the Kenyan should not allow the politicians, because I've always said, I think if William Ruto meant well for this country, especially in terms of peace and unity, you needed to propagate and go on with the fruits of that handshake. One day I will have an interview here with the people who were involved in sort of some violence within here in Nairobi. I was just talking to them, and the guys were saying, look here, bana, handshake it to say yes, son. We should propagate. And so the kind of division that is emerging, where the politicians have now started throwing words at each other, that look here, Mount Kenya was supposed to support Raila because of the debt. That's not it. I don't think someone was voting for Raila because of the debt. The debt narrative was actually on William Ruto's side. And we've started creating a narrative that is divisive and in its nature, which I don't really support. No, that is not the way to go. We need to gain, to reap. This country is yet to reap the fruits of that handshake. And we need more of the handshakes. Uhuru Kenyatta brought the handshake with Raila Odinga, and it worked well. Now, someone is now creating another rift between now Kalenjin and Kikuyu. Honestly, why are we doing that? And I want to tell you why the president is behind. I feel the president is behind it. Ruto is the architect of Mount Kenya troubles because he wants to bungle the mountain into one political party known as UDA. The 2027 political narrative that Ruto will use will not be on whether on the fact that I have done XYZ, so give me more time so that I can complete the projects. That's not going to be his campaign line. His campaign line will be that I want to bring the country together. That's what they even did with Jubilee. So there are plans to make one political party known as UDA. And this kind of approach where Gachagua is going after Uhuru Kenyatta at the Jubilee Party and kill Jubilee Party completely in Mount Kenya, so that when that UDA party comes up, or rather Kenya Kwanza party, I don't think there will be a party known as Kenya Kwanza, maybe UDA, when the ambition to form UDA comes up, everyone will be in that boat called UDA. That's it. It's purely political, and I think my good friends from Gema should take this, that you need to make that conscious decision. It's the same thing. This is a political move to bungle you in one political party, and it will be formed. We are in this country. I have always mentioned here that unlike Uhuru Kenyatta, who was a cool kid, the gentleman politician, who focused on government. The first meeting when he held with elected leaders in Mount Kenya, he told them that instead of politicking, and that is after they raised issues on the handshake, instead of politicking, go and work for the people. Unlike him, President Ruto is different. He's running government and he's running politics. So what he's simply doing is trying to cut Raila Kalonzo down to size. And more importantly, Martha Karua. This is a plan to make sure that any political formation that is going to emerge now will be a political formation minus Mount Kenya. That's it. When you kill UDA, when you drag this and bring all that, they're creating that division to bring a voice of reason. From the voice of reason, they will find a common enemy, a common identity, and come together, which is also good. But the breakaway Jubilee Party is engineered by President Ruto himself to make sure that if Kalonzo has presidential ambitions, and maybe with Martha Karua and Raila, there will be a formation minus Mount Kenya, because the matrix is easy. Tyranny of numbers. When you have Mount Kenya, have the Kalenjin nation, you're good to go. But lastly, William Ruto is pushing a handshake deal with both Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta. He needs it. He actually needs it. These are the people, both Raila and Uhuru also command a chunk of support. Raila Odinga is still active. And I think from what his advisors have told him is that you need to boost your legitimacy by having these people together. And that is why this newspaper headline was crafted. I think the editor, the person who was crafting this, came out, Uhuru men, we are done with Raila. So that the intention of this headline is to show Raila an isolated man. That's it. You know, if you go behind the headlines, headlines are, most people don't, it's what the agenda, they want to set the agenda. They want to portray Raila Odinga as an isolated man, and through that, maybe push him to a drawing table. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of Kabogo's take that you need to embrace your differences? But if you keep on denying, and I can tell you, if Gachagua keep on denying there are no problems, we are together, this marriage was broad daylight, no, you are lying to yourself. If you don't address those problems, you will get, it will finally happen. I do believe that the problem that William Ruto did that brought the breakup with former President Uhuru Kenyatta was that he did not take care of Uhuru Kenyatta's interest. And in fact, he did not agree that there was a problem. Kept on covering everything is fine, but Uhuru was not comfortable with it. Same to William Ruto. He's not comfortable with Mount Kenya so far. And if you kept on saying these things are good, that will not be the end of it. That will be the end of it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my take, and let's meet in our next video. We are going to speak the politics of Waluke release. It's an interesting one.